Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Bacon. Welcome to the show, y'all. We're going to talk about promises tonight. See, people think love is built on money, cars, houses. Nah, love built on trust, and trust live or die by promises. But here's the trick. A promise without truth behind it, that's a lie with perfume sprayed on it. Smell good at first, but stink once you let it sit. This one's about Daryl. Man looked like he had it all lined up. Warehouse job by day, beautiful fiance named Tasha by night. If you passed him on the street, you'd think, now that's a solid couple. But you can't judge nobody by the smile they show in daylight. It's the secrets they keep in the dark that tell the real story. Daryl ain't grow up with much. Mama worked herself ragged clean in offices. Daddy? He was more rumor than memory. Daryl learned early that money, or the lack of it, decided everything. Whether you got laughed at for your shoes, whether you ate that night, whether the landlord cut your heat in January. By 12, he knew how to stretch $1, but he also knew how to snatch one. First hustle was carrying bags for older boys on the block, then running errands, then moving packs. It wasn't about being bad. It was about breathing. That fast money filled the fridge quicker than a prayer. Now Tasha, he met her at a summer cookout. She was laughing loud, eating ribs with sauce on her fingers. Daryl walked up bold, cracked a joke about her napkin game. She rolled her eyes, but she smiled too. That smile hooked him. Before long, they was inseparable. Tasha saw in him what he wanted the world to see. Ambition, charm, dreams bigger than the block. He told her, one day we're going to have a house with a yard, kids riding bikes, you cooking in a big kitchen. And she believed him because he said it like he meant it. And maybe at the time, he did. He got that warehouse job to prove it. Hard work, low pay, but it was honest. Tasha bragged to a girl, my man working, he ain't like these others out here. For a while, life felt stable, but old hunger don't stay buried. Daryl still remembered them nights without lights, that shame of hand-me-downs, that envy when he saw men with pockets fat. So when an old connect whispered opportunity, it was like scratching an itch he never fully healed. Bro, you still driving, want to make triple your paycheck in one weekend. All he had to do was move weight, drive cross state lines, and drop a bag, pick up cash. No corners, no fiends, no heat, just wheels and nerves. Daryl told himself it was temporary. Couple runs, stack enough for a ring, pay off debt, start fresh. But lies don't care about intentions. They only care about repetition. First run felt like jumping out a plane. He kissed Tasha goodnight, told her he was covering an overnight shift. Heart pounding, he slid behind the wheel and hit the highway. Every rest stop looked suspicious. Every semi-truck in his rearview felt like a cop car in disguise. He checked the panel in his trunk 3 times, like the bricks would just vanish if he stared too long. Hours later, he made the drop. Motel key taped under an ice machine, duffel in the tub, cash on the counter. Whole thing took 5 minutes. 5 minutes that paid more than 2 months at the warehouse. When he slid that envelope open, saw all them hundreds stacked tight, and he thought, I can fix everything with this. But dirty money don't fix nothing. It just buys new problems with the receipt tucked away. He came home before sunrise, hands still shaking. Tasha smelled the highway on him. Where you been? She asked, voice soft. Over time, he said, kissing her forehead, and she nodded. 'Cause love will make you nod at lies you already know ain't right. Weeks turned into months. Daryl told himself each run was the last. But stacks of cash became a new addiction. He upgraded little things, better groceries, new furniture, fresh clothes for Tasha. She asked, baby, how we affording this? And he'd give the same line every time. Don't worry, I got us. Now let me pause here, because somebody listening right now need this reminder. You can't build love on lies. You can't build a future on secrets. Every time you lie, you put another crack in the foundation. And when the house falls, don't act surprised you standing in rubble. Daryl thought he was hiding from Tasha. What he didn't see, he was already on somebody else's radar. The feds patient. They watch, they wait, they build. While he was promising her forever. They was building his case brick by brick. Daryl started feeling it in his bones. That sense that every hustler knows when the walls are closing in, even if you can't see them yet. He'd be on the highway, radio off, eyes flicking from mirror to mirror, sweat beating even with the AC blowing. And let me tell you something. When your peace depends on rearview mirrors, you already lost. One night he swore he had a tail. Unmarked sedan slid behind him, never passing, never dropping back. He pulled off an exit, looped around. That car looped too, his chest tight, palms wet on the wheel. He ducked into a crowded truck stop, sat parked between two 18-wheelers, pretending to scroll his phone. The sedan crept past. No sirens, no lights, just gone like smoke. He laughed shaky, but his body stayed tense. Paranoia don't disappear, it sets up a tent in your ribcage. Back home, Tasha started collecting questions like puzzle pieces. Gas receipts from towns 200 miles away. Overnight bags stuffed under the bed. A new phone she never saw him use. She asked him straight up one night, "Daryl, what's going on?" He wrapped his arms around her, looked her dead in the eye, and lied smooth as butter, "Baby, I'm working for us. Everything I do is for us." And she nodded, tears glistening, because love will let a lie borrow space, hoping to turn into truth. Her mama wasn't fooled, though. Mama see through men quick. She told Tasha, "Baby, good men don't come home with bad explanations." Tasha defended him anyway, saying he was tired, saying he was saving, saying he promised her a future, but promises without truth rot from the inside out. Daryl kept driving. One more run, he told himself, and always one more. That's the hustler's fairy tale. After this last job, I'm out. But the streets don't let you clock out. They drag you deeper till your last run becomes the one that bury you. He had close calls. One time, a trooper pulled behind him, lights flashing for the car ahead. Daryl's heart stopped beating till the cruiser passed. Another time, a drug dog circled his car at a way station. Sniffing, barking, handler yanked it away last second. Daryl drove off shaking, swearing he'd never risk it again. By the time he got home, the thought was gone. Money louder than memory. Tasha noticed his nights got restless. He tossed, turned, mumbled in his sleep. Once she reached over and touched under the pillow, felt cold steel, her breath caught. She rolled away, pretending not to notice, pretending her love could erase a pistol. Daryl told himself he was protecting her. But protecting somebody with lies is like covering a cut with dirt. It don't heal, it festers. The DEA was patient. They let him stack his own evidence. Wiretaps on calls, photos of his swaps and informants whispering his name in dark rooms. Every run he thought he beat the system. He was just feeding the case file. And let me pause right here, because I've seen this story too many times. Men thinking they outsmarting the game, but the game been outsmarting men longer than they've been alive. You can't hide forever. Not from the streets, not from the truth. Sooner or later, both show up at your door. Daryl's world was shrinking, even though the money kept growing. Stacks in vents, stacks in shoe boxes, so much cash he couldn't even spend it fast enough. He thought wealth would make him feel free. Instead, it chained him tighter. Every dollar whispered louder. One more run, one more promise. Tasha noticed. She saw the weight in his eyes, the way he jumped at knocks on the door, the way he checked windows twice before bed. One night she told him, "Baby, I don't need all this, I just need peace." Daryl pulled her close, kissing her hair, saying the same line over and over. "I got us." Trust me. But trust don't survive on reruns. It starves without truth. Her mama stayed on her. He ain't who you think he is. Good men tell simple truths, baby. His story is too complicated. Tasha argued back. tears in her throat. He promised me a future, Mom. He promised, but promises without roots blow away in the first storm. Daryl's last run kept moving like the horizon. Every time he got close, it shifted further away. One time he drove 12 hours straight, paranoid the whole way. Stopped for gas. Saw a cruiser at the next pump. His hands shook so bad he dropped the cat. Cop glanced at him, nodded, drove off. Daryl stood there breathing heavy, sweat running down his back, though the night was cool. He told himself again, this the last one. But lies always sound convincing when you whisper them to yourself. Back home, Tasha planned the wedding. Colors, venues, invitations. Daryl nodded through it, phone buzzing in his pocket, texts about routes, weights, payoffs. He pretended to listen while she held up swatches, but his mind was already on the next highway. And she saw it, that distance, that absence. Every bride wants her man present. Daryl was everywhere but with her. One night he dreamed again. Same tuxedo, same altar. Only this time, when the preacher said, "Do you take?" The doors flew open, the agents stormed in, guns out, voices thundering. They tackled him right there on the aisle, of rings flying, flowers trampled. He woke up drenched, chest heaving, the echo of handcuffs still ringing in his ears. And let me pause right here. Dreams ain't always prophecy, but sometimes they your conscience screaming in disguise. Daryl's heart was telling him the truth, his mouth wouldn't, and that truth was simple. You can't promise love while living lies. But Daryl ain't listened. He loaded the trunk again, kissed Tasha on the forehead again, and told her he'd be back by Sunday. She held him tighter than usual. "Please be safe," she whispered. He smiled, but his gut twisted. Deep down, he knew safety don't ride with lies. The DEA was done watching it. They had his voice on tape, his plate and photos, his routes mapped like a GPS. They let him think he was free long enough to hang himself with his own secrets. Next run, that's when the trap would spring. Daryl hit the road like always. Tank full, trunk loaded, nerves strung tight. He told himself it was just another run, but deep down he knew this was it. The highway stretched black and endless. Moon hanging low, silence heavy. Every shadow felt like an ambush. Every headlight in the mirror felt like eyes. And for once, his gut wasn't lying in. DEA had him mapped. They waited till he crossed county lines and then closed in like jaws. One unmarked slid in front of another on his left, a third in his rear view, then the lights. Red and blue blazing so bright it felt like daylight ripped the night apart. "Driver, out the vehicle, hands where we can see." Voices hard, guns drawn. Daryl froze, blood draining from his face. He thought about running, but where? The walls was already closed. They dragged him out, slammed him on the hood, steel bit his wrist. The agents popped the trunk, hands pulling open the panel he thought was secret. Bricks laid bare in the night air. Evidence he couldn't talk his way around. Daryl's stomach turned. Not from fear of prison, but from knowing Tasha was home picking flower colors, dreaming of a wedding that would never come. News travels fast. By morning, his face was on local channels. Warehouse worker arrested in drug trafficking bust. Neighbors shaking their heads, saying they always wondered how he afforded that car, that apartment, that ring. And Tasha, she watched it with her mama at her side, hands over her mouth, tears streaming. And she called once, "Collect from the county jail." Voice shaking, she asked, "Daryl, why didn't you tell me?" He said, "I did it for us." She sobbed, "You didn't do this for us. You did it for you." And she hung up, the click louder than the cuffs had been. Court came quick. Feds had everything, calls, photos, testimony. He pled out to save years off the sentence. Tasha never came to a hearing. Her mama told her, "Baby, better to lose a man to prison than lose yourself to his lies." Daryl stood there in chains looking at the empty bench where she would have been known love built on lies don't survive courtrooms. And let me pause because I need y'all to sit with this. Some of you living like Daryl right now, telling lies, making promises, saying it's all for us. But the truth is, you do it for you. And when the walls close in, you're going to stand alone in that courtroom. Prison didn't scare Daryl the most. What haunted him was the silence after Tasha left. No letters, no visits, just the echo of a love that died the day the truth showed up. See, secrets don't just ruin your freedom. They ruin your relationships, your trust, your legacy. They turn a forever into a memory. And they leave the people you swore to protect, cleaning up the wreckage you left behind. So if you hear me right now, and you living that double life, stop. Don't wait till blue lights are flashing in your mirror. Don't wait till your woman's crying in front of the TV. While your mugshot play on repeat, be honest, even if it costs you. Because the cost of lies is always higher. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.